So in that template, we'll be defining everything, what project it belongs to, what GCP the project it should go to, what the mapping should be, where the column, like how many columns will be there. So after defining that, from the cloud cell itself, we'll be generating a JSON for the BigQuery, both the tables. One will be the staging, that milestone table. In the staging area itself, we'll be generating a CDC table as well from that template itself. And then we have a concept of building a resolver main table as well, wherein both the data will be recorded inside that. Like staging table data and also the CDC table data will be in the resolver main part. And we do that through, I would say, as I said, the CDC is done by data flow. On top of the data flow, I would say there will be first PubSub, and that PubSub will be, the subscription will be given in that data flow, and the topics are created by us only. So that topics and subscription is there, and data flow helps to capture the records from the subscription. For the milestone part, we do build a DAG. So DAG, the callable files and everything, the backend part is written by a central ADP team. For us, we write a DAG YAML wherein all the tasks will be defined, like how the tasks will process. First, the staging will be there. Then we have a bad records checks as well. After the bad records check, that records should be processed to stage to main area. So and thereon we have the data cluster settings as well inside the DAG itself. So once the DAG is run through the console from the Composer services, so that captures all the records from the packet file, and it push into the BigQuery milestone table, and data flow push on all the records from that subscription for the streaming data to the CDC table, and that both the records are moved into the resolver main part, and from there on it goes on to the CCN. CCN is like it's the other team which works for the GCP itself. It's Cloud Core Node. So there from the designer itself, they will be having the logics as on what date format it should get processed on. They'll be writing the procedures and all. So it's their part. I do not have a, I would say, low level idea on them, what they do, but it goes on to the Cloud Core Node part where the logics are applied. And then after it goes on to the data product part where other partitions and logics are applied for moving into the dashboard building parts. So yeah, this is the, I would say, the end-to-end architecture for processing the data from the on-premise, also the CDC to like till GCP dashboards. And if I say so, it's a migration-based project.
Is there any tool which you are using as part of your migration? Third party
Tool as
tool?
in like what tool?
Okay. And is there any relational DB involved as part of your data pipeline?
The Oracle DB, like the source has the Oracle DB. That Orbit is called as the name after the Oracle DB itself.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
But that was in on-prem, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now move on to next question. Like, what is the unique about BigQuery Cloud Data Warehouse? Can you explain what is the uniqueness of BigQuery Cloud Data Warehouse?
Sure, I'll tell you that. So BigQuery, first I would say it's offered by GCP itself. So GCP has a customization thing as well. So we can balance the, I would say, the cost from the other cloud marketplace. BigQuery offers the cost optimization like in a very good way. So it offers the cost of optimization. First, I would say that. After that, it can handle petabytes of data very easily, and it is serverless as well, which is handled and managed by GCP itself. And then if we say so, since it's serverless, so managing of data from I would say GCP is done. So our part involvement is not much, and since it's a data warehouse, so analytics, like doing the analytics in the console for it is much easier, like what I have seen. So yeah, these things are coming into my mind. If you ask me the optimization thing, we can say that it offers the partition and clustering things as well, and we can use it has itself built-in feature for using the SQL engine running as well, as its architecture is defined in a most I would say optimized way. So yeah, these things are coming into my mind for now.
Okay, so now the cost optimization point of view we'll discuss now.
Yeah.
So in which area we'll have to look into it to save cost in BigQuery point of view?
Okay, so we have two area, I would say. First would be, I would say, the storage part, and the other would be, I would say, the query part. So storage, if I begin with the storage one, I would say there is a long term and active term as well. So if it's an active term in BigQuery or data warehouse itself, like the changes or modifications happens to be in 90 days itself, so that will be a bit more costly than what we have for the sorry, the short term. So one is that thing, and the other is, I would say, for the query part. So suppose we are querying select star, and if it queries the entire data, then it is going to cost us more. And it has a, like, if we are running the engine itself there, so we can, while doing the query, we can have an on-demand query there. Like if you want the particular fields, particular columns to be derived from the data, we can use that, and that will help in query optimization. There is other thing as well, the flat rate thing, I would say, in BigQuery, where it depends upon the number of slots that we are using. The number of slots mean the number of worker that Dremel is using for the BigQuery for the search engines. So it depends upon the number of slots. Like if it has a more number of slots, then it will cost more. It has less number of slots, it will cost a less. And coming to the free part, I would say it offers 10 TB of storage in a month free. And I would say 10 GB or 10 TB, I'm not able to recall it now. And 5 TB of query every month free. Like till that, we do not have the cost for querying.
Okay, for example, the reservation and committed usage. What do you think about the reservation is good, or the committed usage discount we should take for slot reservation and all that?
If I beg your pardon for your question again.
Yeah, I'm asking you, for example, in the
Yeah.
big query, there is two more option apart from whatever you discussed. The one is the
Okay.
reservation and other one is the committed usage of discount,
Community. Okay.
C-
Okay.
COD, right? So
Mm-hmm.
these two area we should apply. What do you think to save
Like
our
you are talking
cost?
about the number of slots or something.
Yeah, number of slots reservation, or number of slots for the committed usage of discount, if we fix for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and number of slots if we can define, then is it possible to save cost?
uh, let's see. I like for now I'm not able to actually analyze those things, but yeah, it is possible since BigQuery or whatever services GCP offers, the advantage we have is a customization advantage there. So we can use those customization advantage, like for the particular things only. Like if we want 2.25 GB of RAM, so we have that option as well. If you want 2.35 or like 0.10, it varies, like while figuring, or while I would say configuring the things. So in that way it can be cost optimized because it will only query that much a part of the data.
Acha,
Talk,
as we know that the query are we are paying for the storage part, we are paying
yeah,
for the when we are executing the query
yes, correct.
compute part. So so my question like to you, for example, we have number of data set, number of tables,
Mm-hmm.
we have lots of data controlled by various team.
Okay.
But what happened after 2 3 years, people are forgot to delete the data set and table which are not using.
Mm-hmm.
So how we can encounter the unused data set and table so that we can save our cost?
If we can do the object lifecycle management there, like that is coming into my head. So suppose there is a standard data that is like standard cloud storage part, or standard, I would say, type that is set for that particular data. In BigQuery, there can be frequent data uses as well, and that can be like less uses as well. So in that way, we can move all the data into the cloud storage, and in cloud storage as well, like the data that is not being used. So in cloud storage as well, we have various types of, I would say, storage class. So there will be a standard, and then there will be nearline, code line, and archival as well. So if that data is not being used like at all, or maybe it is being used once in a year, then that can be put in the archival. And also that can be like according to the usage, it can be put in the nearline or code line. It also offers, I would say, the snapshot thing, where we can set the retention as well, or maybe the recovery as well. So we can set it to the 7 days. If that is not being used and it is not required also, then it can get I would say elapsed, that data won't be used. But yeah, if it is being used, it can be like moved on to the cloud storage part, and from there on, whenever required, it can be used. So that in that way, as we know that in the, depending upon the storage class, GCP offers the cost like that. Suppose it's archival, then the cost will be very less, and suppose it's code line, like then it will be a bit more, than near line will be a bit more, and then so we can do the object lifecycle management there, and
Okay.
we can help do that. We can help optimize the cost.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
now move on to next question. So how do you create a data flow in GCP? Can you explain end to end, and what is the way to create?
So if I say, see, what we do is we create it through the GCP, I would say through the VCS, that is GitLab. So in GitLab, what we do is, though we have a template defined in the GCP itself, you're saying that also happens. Like you can go directly and we can select the template, maybe from PubSub to BigQuery, or then maybe to text to CSV. So that we can do, going and selecting the template and then selecting the reasons, and I would say the primary and secondary worker nodes working for them. So that also is done, which I have done for my projects. But talking about my own the hands-on project, we do it through the GitLab. So we do prepare a YAML for that, and there will be a mapping that gets mapped onto, I would say, this one GCP. So there will be giving the projects and the required thing, the template that I said, but there will be an SDK image version as well, that will be having all the things that should be read from the PubSub, I would say. And yes, we'll be giving the subscription name as well in the data flow job creation, and the secondary these things. Also we'll be giving the environment, and then we'll be giving the projects based on what, and the source, and we'll be giving the, I would say, the configuration of the file store as well, from where it will catch up the data, the collection name, I would say. So yeah, in that way we build the data flow.
What is cross check in data flow?
Cross check.
Check.
Okay. Cross check, I've not come across that particular topic, but if I can figure it out, I might say that yeah, it will be a log check whether the data flow is actually getting the data, like that data flow subscription is actually getting the like CDC data or real time data from, I would say, the topic or not. Yeah, and in data flow, if you ask to level, I have a somewhat of understanding that we do have p collections there, transformation, and input and output thing as well. So in that way also, that transformations happen in the data flow.
So in transformation, in terms of the transformation, what are the function is involved to help out to complete the whole process of the data processing?
So suppose we are reading it from text or anything, maybe BigQuery to PubSub to BigQuery, whatever it is.
Maybe you can
So
take one example from one of the CSV file we are fetching from GCS bucket and loading into
yeah, so the
BigQuery.
input would be the cloud storage wherein the CSV file is landing. So from CSV file will be there, and see, we can use the pardo function as well there, parallel distributed function. But for the simple use, though I do not create the pipelines for the data flow, but for the simple use, we do have the map, a flat map, combine per key. So those things are there wherein the transformations happens. If it's a CSV file, then it will be lambda functions will be used with the map, where the comma, but like split will be with the comma, and thereon there will be a flat map if it is required from, like I would say, like multiple elements are required from there. Then there will be a combine per key, and then we can write the output, like we can write it down to BigQuery.
Okay.
So so that is
Okay, all
the
right.
process.
So now let me go to next question. So how do you create a workflow in Dataproc?
Yeah, so data proc workflow, I do not do that. Like the data flow, okay, data proc you are saying. So
Yes.
data proc, yeah. So data proc hands-on work, I do not do that. That data proc, I would say, it helps to build the clusters as well, as there is the facility of building the clusters with the help of data flow. So we can have the clusters as well. So whether it can be like celery execute, or executors can be used in there for building those. So for that data proc part itself, in the as I said, for the composer itself, we have a DAG written. So in the DAG, we'll be creating the clusters itself, wherein we'll be giving the primary worker node, the secondary worker node, the collection names, projects, and everything will be given for the data proc mapping. And once we run that DAG itself from the Airflow, it will automatically, I would say, trigger those jobs into the data proc, which helps to understand whether our job is running or not. So going into that data proc section in the GCP, we can check our logs whether how many records is being like being pushed, or how many records is being read, whether it is being written to sync or not, or whether it is going to bad records. So data proc mostly we use it to check that. But writing, as you said, that is the correct part, that you are saying that how data proc is working. But I am afraid to say that writing the data proc Hadoop or maybe the PySpark backend thing, that is not done by me.
Okay, all right. So,
Though I'm learning for that. Like I have started for it. So yeah.
okay, so do you have experience on Oracle database?
Oracle database directly, I do not do anything on Oracle database. So I cannot, like
Okay,
for the my first in my first project, I do have used Oracle database, like creating the database and then reading the data from there, querying it. But for this project, I'm not been using the Oracle database directly.
okay. What is window function and why to use in GCP BigQuery?
Sure, I'll tell you that. So window function, like suppose if we have lots of data, so when we want to create a chunks based on the group, suppose it is getting grouped by some column, and we need that chunks. Suppose window functions there are, I would say, so it gets a details, or it gets a record into in one row into the chunks. So in order as well. So there are rank, dense rank, row number as well. So suppose if you are using row number and there are details to be described based on that column, it will get partitioned by that column. Suppose partitioned by ID, and that ID is getting partitioned by it. So the data will happens to be coming in chunks if we are windowing it. Like if you are giving it a window function, like 1 2 3 4 will come if you are giving the row number. Then again, based on that partition, if it goes to the next one, then it will again give you 1 2 3 4. And if you have a rank and dense rank, it happens to be in some other similar way. Like if we have suppose, I'll tell you the difference also in saying those terms. So suppose there is a dense rank, and if we have the similar value, then it will be having, if it's a dense rank, then it will give you one, and then it will be one only. Suppose it's a similar, then one, and if it's come to the second, then it will give you second, like second rank. And if you're using rank, then it will also window it and give it a chunks only, but it will give you one, and then it will give you the after record for that, which is not similar, will be three. So
Okay,
yeah, in that the window function.
okay, all right. Suppose how to get top three rank result for each group using window function in GCP BigQuery.
Top three. So we can use the query there. If I can write the query. If you can repeat the question again, please.
How to get top 3 rank results for each group using Windows function in GCP BigQuery.
Okay, window function you were saying.
Yeah.
So select, I would say, if you have the employee, maybe employee ID. I'm just being a bit random. So then we can give top three. So row number we can use it. And we can give what was the column for partitioning it, or is
Okay.
there no column? So sorry,
Partition by you can take season column season.
season.
Uh,
Okay. And top three you were saying, no? So row number partition by as maybe row number. I'll give it row number one. From maybe employee table, and then we can give limit three. Yeah, this will give the top three, right? Like row number, like ranking as well.
okay. So now let me move on to next question.
Yeah.
Okay, so apart from BigQuery, Dataproc, Dataflow, and GCS bucket and PopShop,
Hmm.
what Is there any other Google Cloud product and service do you have experience?
I won't say experience, but I have been in touch with the IAM things, the identity and access management, and we do use as Composer as well. But that is only being used with the Apache Airflow for the DAG part. And yeah, Firestore we do use for writing the collections name, wherein all the file gets audited and it is read at, since it's a NoSQL database for the packet files.
Okay, suppose you have little bit knowledge on IAM, so let me
Yeah,
ask you
just
one
about, yeah.
question like
Sure,
in BigQuery point of view, what is authorized view?
sure. So authorized is basically, see, we like point of view tailing is like we have a views, so that will be a views type. So views is basically created based on the query, like if only a particular query is required and a business is asking, or maybe some other third party is asking that we need this a particular query. Hundreds of records are there, but only 10 records are, sorry, the 10 column records are required. So on top of that, that only needs to be provided to that third party for any analysis or something, like taking it the permission from a business as well. To authorize that, we do use that identity and access management, so that that particular groups or particular members have the access to a query that views from the database. So yeah, that is.
Then once they got the access, then they will able to view the whatever the view had whatever the view already created, that they will provide the access to view the data, right?
Yeah, if it is authorized, then yeah, then they will be provided an access to views that authorized views data, like the views data. Then
Okay.
after authorization, it will be called authorized views.
Okay, have you ever work with machine learning BigQuery ML?
No, no. BigQuery ML, I was about to, but for now, since I have not got chance because of the time, I am afraid I have not learned that yet.
Okay, okay, all right. And have you worked with the materialized view?
I do have a concept on materialized view, but since that CCN people mostly write the procedure and build that authorized views and materialized view. So writing and hands-on building and materialized view, I haven't done it. But materialized view, what is that? I know that. That yeah, materialized is views. If I can tell you, if that helps.
Can you explain?
Sure. So we have a view. So coming to materialized view, that view do not get recorded into the database system. If we want that views to get recorded into the database system, we have to build it as a, or we have to configure it as a, write it as a materialized view. So once that records that is built from the query is given into the into the records, then it happens to be a materialized view. Materialized view is basically used like the updation does not happens there so quickly, but we have to query that we do frequently query that, and that helps in, I would say, optimization of a performance and optimization of the query as well. So
I
yeah,
mean,
I have that.
only you can say only the delta thing will be execute.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So now